You may find it surprising to learn, but it is possible to use multimedia and audio and play sounds from your cloud computer that you are accessing remotely over your remote Windows desktop or other RDP client. Let me show you a couple tricks that are necessary to turn that on. So I've got a cloud computer launched, and here's my IP address. I'll make a copy of that. And we're going to start up the remote desktop client as usual. But before we connect to it, I'm going to come in where it says Show Options, and I'm going to come over to the local resources. And I first want to make sure that in the remote audio, the settings is set so it will play on this computer. Okay, and so what that's going to do is take anything that would have gone to the sound device on the server, on the remote computer in the cloud that we're controlling, and it's going to redirect it as an audio stream to this computer, my local computer, and it's going to use the local hardware, sound hardware, in order to play it. Okay, so that's half the battle. We've now got the client doing what it should do. Let's go ahead and connect and see the rest of it. So I'll put in our IP address, and let me fix the administrator name, and we'll connect, and our password, and yes. Okay, so now that the desktop is loaded, let's take a look at the control panel and check the sound settings. So we click the Windows Start button and type control panel, or if it's in your shortcuts, you can load the control panel. And then I like to make sure that I have small icons up. If it's categories, this is the view you get. I think it's easier to navigate looking at the small icons. And I'm going to come down to sound. Now, interestingly, our server that we're using in the cloud doesn't actually have any physical hardware to support, A to D conversion of sound and playing sound files and whatnot. But that's okay, because we're not really going to use that. What we're going to use is this virtual device, remote audio, and what that is going to do is just take anything that was going to be sent to sound hardware and redirect that stream back to our local computer. So it's going to stream the audio, and our local computer will process that stream and play it. Okay, so if this is not already enabled, so if it were set to disable, you would want to set it to enable and then say OK. And now that device is enabled. And so now if we go and play an audio file, we should hear it. So I'm going to look into our music solution where we have some audio files, and I think down in the bin file under debug, there are some audio files. So let's go ahead and play one of those using the Windows audio player. Hopefully you're hearing the Unclaimed Territory by Dana Song is now playing. Okay, so now that's played, and we're done with that clip. It's just a short little partial clip. And so if that is working, there should be no reason that we couldn't open up our entire application that we're programming to run the code and play that clip. And so let's come up here to the music solution and open our solution in Visual Studio 2017. And let's see, I have two songs wired up, one under the Everything picture box and one under the Unclaimed picture box. So let's take a look at the Everything picture box in the design. So Everything by Dano, Everything Begins. So let's go ahead and run that. And it will build and execute. And now if I click on the everything button, there we go. Lovely. Okay. And exit. So that's all there is to it, but you should be able to play and program multimedia audio and video on your remotely controlled Windows system in the cloud, and that should work just fine, provided you've made those two settings, the one in the remote Windows desktop and the other in the remote server in the cloud, your Windows system in the cloud, to make sure that you've enabled the virtual audio device. That's it.